So this is part 2 of a 2-part series on buying a car. The first part we talked about buying the car, and then we mentioned leasing and the travails that can occur as a result. But there's some tricks too. Hello, my name is Paul Carroll, the CEO and founder of Avion Wealth, an elite wealth management firm here in Texas. Generally speaking, in Texas, leasing is a terrible idea. In Texas, you pay 6.25% sales tax on the value of the car. You don't pay local sales tax on the value of the car, by the way. You only pay the 6.25. The problem with leasing is in most states, you'll pay the sales tax on the value of the leased car, not the total value of the car. And what do I mean? If you own the car for 3 years, then the value of the car when you lease it minus the value of the car when you turn it in, it's called the residual value, is all that the sales tax is applied to. That's not true in Texas. In Texas, they apply it to the full value of the car. And that makes the math of leasing a lot more difficult to work than it does in other states. But there is a way to gain this. There is an exception, and it's called the single pay lease. The single pay lease really wasn't designed with the consumer in mind. It's more designed for the business who needs fleet vehicles, and they don't want to depreciate the car. They know they're going to need it for 8 years, and they just want the full value. The way you do it is you pay the lease payment for that 3-year window, 2-year, 4-year, whatever you pick, in a lump sum up front. Included in that is usually a 1% fee. But if you pay that amount, you don't pay sales tax. It's an incredible deal. So if you want to buy a car, you could lease the thing for the next 8 years on a single pay lease, but that's actually not the best way to game the system, in my opinion. Because what comes with this is what I call the ultimate warranty. If you've ever owned or known someone who've owned a complete and total lemon, you'll know what a nightmare it can be to get it right. And eventually you just end up walking away with a huge loss after battles with the dealership and constant repair attempts and so on. But imagine this. You bought a single pay 2-year lease, especially for a car that has a lower residual. You love the car at the end of the 2 years. You buy the rest of the car off the lease and pay sales tax on that lower amount. Now it's your car. And really the window's up to you. Let's say it's a 3-year lease. If something goes terribly wrong with that car in 2.5 years, in 6 months, you get to give it back. You give them the problem. You don't have a car that's now going to be hard to unload, hard to sell. It is the dealer's problem. So in addition to skipping the sales tax on whatever that portion is that you've paid, you have got yourself a world-class de facto backup warranty on that car. I've done this a number of times, and it's a sweet deal. The only challenge is that some dealers won't deal with it. Usually they're Japanese, and it's not that they can't, it's that they get so little of that business that they don't bother. And so they'll just say, yeah, we don't do single pay lease. But you can at least ask. If you get a European car, you get a luxury car, it's almost guaranteed you can get a single pay lease. One place I can guarantee you can't get one is Tesla. Ask me how I know. The interesting thing about this game, for want of a better term, is one of the most disappointing facts can be when you've bought a car that has pretty significant early depreciation. European cars tend to depreciate pretty harshly in the first 3 years. Well, that's fine. If you want a Mercedes and you want comfort knowing that, yeah, I didn't get one of the bad ones, and if you've ever had a bad one, you know what I mean, then get one on a 3-year single pay lease. Let it lose all that residual value. You didn't pay sales tax on it. Pay sales tax when you buy it off the lease if you still want it at that point of time. So it's one of those few deals where if you lose, you win, especially when it comes to residual. If you have any questions about advanced leasing strategies, especially in the state of Texas, or any other of these deals, give me a call. We wish you the best of investment success. Thank you.